Welcome to my cat painting time-lapse video. I like to begin painting portraits with the background first. A technique I use is with a palette knife, adding the blotches of colors from light to dark or dark to light just all over the canvas, and then spread them out with kind of a smaller paintbrush just to make sure I get the edges of the subject very well, and then with a larger coarse-haired brush to give it a little texture, I just do a back and forth sweeping motion to get that background texture. Next, I like to make sure the eyes of my subject look pretty decent before I continue. It kind of helps me cement the whole process, and if the eyes look good, I feel a little bit more confident and am able to trust the process a little bit more. And the way I like to do eyes is I like to do the whites, and if it's a lighter colored eye, and then I also do the iris too first, and then go in with blacks for like the pupils, or maybe just whatever darker colors surrounding the eye, but from light to dark just for the eyes, and then the rest of my painting process I'll typically do dark to light, and I'll adjust as needed. So for the rest of the painting, I'm doing initially what I can tell is the darkest parts of the painting, and then I'm just gradually going lighter. I typically would like to paint with a paintbrush that is what I would consider a little bit too big for my subject matter, just because it lets you block in colors pretty effectively, and for me, I think it makes my overall painting look a little bit more painterly and a little bit more stylized, and overall I just really like the effect. I'd like to take the moment to add a little bit of backstory behind this piece. This portrait was a request from this cat's owner, as at the time of the request the cat had just passed away, and so she wanted me to create a little portrait in order to remember her cat in a really sweet way. And the only sort of, I guess, requests as far as this piece was concerned is she wanted me to slim down the cat just a little bit, and as well she wanted me to match the eye color to a specific color she provided, as none of the reference photos she was able to have on hand did the cat's eye color justice, so she really wanted me to get the color correct. And now going back to the painting process, after the subject is completely done, the last step, depending on what is requested, is to wrap the edges of the canvas, as when the piece is hung on the wall, it just overall gives it a nice completed look to it. And that's a pretty easy step. Whenever the very first step when I'm preparing the background, I always like to save little piles of that similar color to have towards the end, just so I could wrap the piece, and then I lay the piece on its back and let it dry on a rack rather than stay on the easel if I am going to wrap the painting like this. And now the last step of this painting process is varnishing the painting. And varnishing paintings is important because it gives your painting a nice cohesive finished look. It really brings out a lot of those darker colors, but it also just makes the sunken paint look more even. Overall, it looks really good, and also it's a protective little barrier that covers the painting, which extends the life of your painting as well. Thanks for watching, and leave a question below if you have any.